Alright, hey guys, and welcome to this video all about how to create your own Kahoot game on the iPad and then share it with me so we can play it as a class later. Okay, so to create your own Kahoot, you're just going to go on Safari and you're going to go to the website create.kahoot.it. Now you are going to have to sign up for an account and you may have to say that you're a teacher to do so, but it's totally fine. You'll be able to sign up for your own account. So I'm going to quickly sign in with my username and password. Alright, and now that you're into your Kahoot account, yours will look similar to mine. In the upper left, there's the new Kahoot page, which we're actually on right now. And so to create a new Kahoot, we're going to create our own quiz. And then the first thing we're going to do is we're going to give that quiz a name. And what I would like you to do is name it in such a way that I know what it's about, I know who made it, and I know when they made it. So for instance, I'm going to call this quiz Multiplying Polynomials, because that's the topic it's about. And then I'm going to put 2015, because that's the year, and then I'm going to put my initials, BMB. So if you guys would do something similar to this, that would be really helpful so I know what it's about, when it was made, and who made it. All right, now let's press go. And right away, okay, now it's time to create a question. And in each question, you've got some options for what to do. Here, you're going to type the prompt, like, please solve the equation, or please graph the function, or please do this, or please do that. So I'm going to say, for instance, please multiply the polynomial, and put in standard form. Now here's the deal. Math is really hard to type out. You need to have all these symbols and maybe exponents and who knows what. So what I tend to do is this. I tend to actually use pictures very often to make my question and even my answers. I'll show you what I mean right now. So this question says, please multiply the polynomial and put in standard form. It's like, well, what polynomial? Well, I actually do almost all of my work in Notability. And this is where I make both the question and the possible answers. So for instance, I will make, this is the polynomial that I would like the students to multiply, m plus 4 quantity squared. So this is what the question is right here. And then what I do is instead of having to type all of this in those 4 kind of answer boxes, right? This is going to be impossible to type this stuff out. Or if we do, it's going to look clunky. It's not going to work so well. So what I do is in Notability, I write the question and then I write 4 possible answers. So for instance, A will be m squared plus 16. B will be m squared plus 4m. C will be m squared plus 4m plus 16. And D will be m squared plus 8m plus 16. And so what we do here is by writing the 4 possible multiple choice answers within the question itself. And by the way, when you do this, it's very important that the answers go A, B, C, D in this order, because when other people play your Kahoot, this is what A, B, C, and D are going to look like. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take a picture of this, and that's the picture that I'm going to put right here. So when it says, please multiply the polynomial and put in standard form, I'm just going to write C picture. Then they're going to see the polynomial they need to multiply and the 4 answers in this picture. And then down here, all we need to put as answer 1 is just A. Is the answer A, B, is it C, or is it D? And so you don't have to type all this weird mathy stuff in here. Now how do we get that picture from Notability into Kahoot? Well, I'm going to take a screenshot of this, and then you're just going to need to crop that screenshot however you'd like. I think you can do it right within Photos. Awesome, so crop it, and that's the image that we're going to use. So when I go back to Kahoot, I'm going to click on Choose File, Choose File, Choose Existing, Camera Roll, boom. And that's the image. So we've got a question that pertains to this image and all 4 possible answers are in this image. And this is what I like to do almost all the time because it just makes it much easier to write math, or if you want to have a graph or something, that's going to be best to do with an image. Now the answer in this case is actually D. So to make D the correct answer, we're just going to click on that. And now that's going to be the correct answer. Note to self, for every question, you also need to set a time limit. My suggestion is giving them too much time is much better than giving them not enough time. And students even need a few seconds just to read the question and figure out what's going on. So I would say for a really easy question, you can give them 30 seconds. For a question like this, which I consider kind of medium easy, I'm going to give them 60 seconds. Unfortunately, we can't give them any more than 2 minutes, so the questions can only be, they can't get that hard. But I always say err on the side of caution, more time is better than less time. All right, so we've finished making this question. And what are our options now? We can add a new question from scratch, Or what I often end up doing is, because most of my questions are kind of the same thing again and again and again, you can just duplicate the question. So for instance, if I press duplicate, now I'm on question number 2. You can see we're on question 2 now, and everything's the same. But what I might do is I might just make a new problem. And I'll say, well, I want to go back to Notability, and I'll say, all right, now I'm going to make a new problem. And this next problem says, please multiply m plus 4 times m minus 4. All right, I'm going to say, okay, what are the 4 possible answers? Well, A is m squared minus 16, B is m squared plus 16, C is m squared minus 4m, and D is m squared plus 4m. And right, the students need to figure out which one of these is right, and who would want to type all of this? And again, I'm going to take a picture of this. I'm going to go into Photos now, and I'm going to edit this one right here, edit it, crop. So we have just the picture, nothing else. We want to really get nice and tight so it's as big as possible so the students can see as much when it's on the whiteboard or smartboard or what have you. I'm going to go back to Kahoot. I'm going to choose a new file for this question, choose existing, camera roll, boom, there was our new one. And in this case, the answer is A. So what we need to do is make sure that down below, we click on A to let it know that this is the right answer, but we also need to click on D again to let it know that that's not the correct answer. All right, so we can continue this for as many questions as we want. You can always delete a question, you can navigate between questions, you can just add a new question from scratch or duplicate. When you're done with all your questions, we're going to press Save and Continue. Okay, and then it's going to be like, all right, so here are all the questions. Do you want to reorder them? Oops, excuse me. Press down or up. Do you want to reorder in these questions? I was just pressing these buttons to change what order they came in. And when you're happy with the order, Save and Continue. Right, now that we're done with that, it says, okay, make sure that it's set on public. You can give it a description if you want. You can give it tags if you want. I really don't bother with that. Your audience is always, for our purposes, going to be school. All right, Save and Continue. Almost done. And if you want to give your quiz a cover image, something funny or whatever, you can put a picture here. You don't have to do this at all. And when you click done, when you click done, now your Kahoot is created. Hurrah, 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 hurrah. This is amazing. Now, what you're going to do right away, now that you're done with this Kahoot, is I would like you to share it with me. So if you click on share with other users, you can type in their name. And all you got to do is type in my username so that you can share with me. So it's my username is B. Messinger Barnes. Right, there I am. If you were to click that and press share right here, it'll send it to me, and I can look at it and we can play it in class or whatnot. And so that's how you create a Kahoot on the iPad and share it with me. A couple of things to note, just some good tips for making a good Kahoot. One, start easy. A lot of students, they just start by making all these really, really, really hard problems, and no one gets it, and it's no fun. Start easy. What I tend to do is I just kind of look at my problem sets and I make similar problems, because this problem sets usually start really easy, then they get a little harder, and they get a little harder, and then they get harder. And that's what I would do. I would model it off those problem sets. Keep the directions simple. We're not here to try and trick each other and fool each other, right? We're here to have a good time while we're learning and perhaps having some friendly competition. So keep the directions as simple as possible. Like I mentioned before, it's best to give the students too much time instead of too little time. Remember how on each question you could set exactly how much time they had. And a good Kahoot, you don't want it to be too short, but you don't want it to be too long. I'd say between 8 and 20 questions. 8 would be if each question is pretty long. 20 would be if each question is pretty short. So somewhere in there. And so those are my tips for making a good Kahoot.